Wind is described as the horizontal movement of air from high to low pressure. The unequal heating of Earth's surface is what causes the pressure differences in the wind. Wind is formed when the surface is heated and the air near the surface is also heated. Warm air is lighter, so it rises. When it begins to rise, the air pressure is reduced where the air has risen. So air molecules move away, so the pressure in that area is now less. So wind will blow toward the low pressure zone. It is also important to note that wind can be determined by the pressure gradient, the Coriolis effect, as well as friction. The Coriolis effect is due to the rotation of the Earth. This phenomenon causes the rotation of the Earth to curve and deflect all free-moving objects such as the atmosphere, the oceans, and the winds. In the northern hemisphere, everything will curve to the right, and in the southern hemisphere, everything will curve to the left. While the Coriolis effect causes the direction of the winds in each hemisphere to vary, it will not cause any significant effect on the speeds of the winds in each hemisphere. In a high-pressure system, wind is moving clockwise, while in a low-pressure system, the wind will be moving in a counterclockwise direction. In a high-pressure system, the wind will be diverging, whereas in a low-pressure system, the wind will be converging, which is because of the Coriolis force. It is also important to note that a low-pressure system will bring cloudy conditions and precipitation, while a high-pressure system will often have clear skies and fair and comfortable weather. The Coriolis effect in converging air explains the general circulation of Earth's air. When air collides with another, the air then converges on the surface, which causes air to rise. When air moves away is where air sinks back down. Near the equator, there is a rising air in pressure zones called the equatorial lows. Upper-level air moves toward the 30-degree north and south and sinks back towards the surface. The area in which it sinks is known as the subtropic high, and many deserts exist at this 30 degrees. Because the diverging air means nice weather and no clouds. At the surface, air will move toward the poles or the equator. Towards the poles is known as the westerlies, and towards the equator is known as the trade winds. As westerlies move toward the poles, they hit the cool polar easterlies in the subpolar low. These convergence regions, in which warm and cold winds collide, create stormy belts known as the polar front. This cold air moves and spreads towards the equator. Low pressure zones are located at the equator and the subpolar, which will have lots of rain. The high pressure zones are located at the subtropical and polar highs and will have little to no rain. Because of the variance in the Earth's winds, there are several different climates that can be observed across the globe. For example, centered roughly on the equator is the tropical zone, which is a belt of relatively low atmospheric pressure and heavy rainfall that is associated with thunderstorms due to the rising air. This zone has historically been known as the doldrums because of the very light winds it possesses.